Now going to spend the next 3 days visiting the Normandy Beaches. So today we're at Utah Beach. So it says, in this bunker captured from the enemy on the 6th of June 1944, Noyce of the US Navy established its communication centre from the 8th of June to the 31st of October 1944. This group of 41 men played a great part in the success of the landing of 836,000 men, 220,000 vehicles and 725,000 tonnes of equipment. I think most people recognise that tank, the Sherman tank itself. Gonna head down towards the beach. This is Utah Beach itself. Imagine being cramped up on that. Wonder what was going to happen as soon as it went aground. Obviously a typical sea defence bunker just to the rear of the beach itself. So after leaving Utah Beach, where on the 6th of June 1944 by nightfall some 20,000 men and 1,700 vehicles had arrived, we then stumbled across on our travels to Pointe du Hoc, the Mazy battery, World War II artillery battery constructed in secret by the German Wehrmacht near the French village of Grand Camp Mazy in Normandy. It formed part of Germany's Atlantic Wall coastal fortification and was the principal position of defence for that area. It was responsible for the defence of the sector between Long-sur-Mer and St. Marcof batteries. It could target the sectors both around Omaha Beach and Utah Beach. Amazing sight to go and see. We had to pay to go in and see it, but it was worth the money. They're still discovering parts of this battery itself. It is absolutely amazing, and you get a little map and it describes everything about the place itself. And like this bunker here, when you think about the men that sort of were in here, sitting here, including them little birdies up there, very nice. Fire there, keep warm. Obviously the position for the sentry. It's a huge crater. emplacement, obviously destroyed. Clearly, you can see it in the back there. So this is a gun encasement. So Pointe du Hoc lies actually west of Omaha Beach itself, and on the day 7:10 in the morning, 225 US Army Rangers, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel James Earl Rudder, scaled the sheer 30-metre cliffs where the Germans had stationed a battery of artillery guns trained onto the beaches of Utah and Omaha. Unfortunately, the guns had already been moved inland, and Rudder and his men spent the next 2 days repelling counterattacks. By the time they were finally relieved on the 8th of June, 81 of the Rangers had been killed and 58 more had been wounded. An amazing sight to go and see, and the amount of devastation that's still been left there as a remembrance. And obviously you can see here the ceiling, the charred remains of one of the bunkers that had obviously been hit. So this is us now arrived at Omaha Beach. If anywhere symbolises the courage and sacrifice of D-Day, it's Omaha, still known as Bloody Omaha to the US veterans. It was here on the 7-kilometre stretch of coastline that most of the brutal fighting on D-Day took place. US troops had to fight their way across the beach towards the heavily defended cliffs, exposed to underwater obstacles, hidden minefields and withering crossfire. The toll was heavy. Of 2,500 casualties at Omaha on D-Day, more than 1,000 were fatal. Most of those killed died within the first hour of the landings. Those that can't see it, it says the Allied forces landing on this shore, which they call Omaha Beach, liberates Europe, June the 6th, 1944. So now at the American Cemetery, I don't think it's very popular with motorhomers. What do you think? So high on the bluffs above Omaha is the Normandy American Cemetery and Memorial. It's the largest American cemetery in Europe, containing the graves of 9,387 American soldiers and a memorial to 1,557 comrades known only unto God. Just so symmetrical. They look straight ahead, off to one side, off to the other side. The edge. Absolutely amazing sight to behold. some of the flak guns along with the Germans. 88mm. That's the M321B1 at Sherman. Tank recovery vehicle. Oh, it looks like it's been splattered on the side there, along with the Bailey Bridge. £25 self-propelled gun Sexton. The one that everybody knows about, the M4 Sherman tank. So after that emotional day, we then headed to the campsite where we got to stay for 2 nights, had refreshments and got ourselves ready for the forthcoming days. So today we're going to be out on the bikes, and on our way down to Port-en-Bessin we stumbled across a fortification above the port itself. It was obviously there to defend from the invasion. Amazing sight to see. Went down into the bunker, had a look out to see what they could see back in them days that they were defending. After that we just cycled on down into Port-en-Bessin itself and had a look around. An amazing port, again with a lot of history to do with D-Day. What was rather bizarre was when you went to the beach, it was all scallop shells, and then as you looked up you could see again more defensive of the harbour area. So as we leave the beautiful port of Port-en-Bessin, heading towards Gold Beaches and Arromanches, it isn't all easy going cycle paths as we found. This was a designated cycle path, but quite narrow in places. Luckily we had the bikes with us, the e-bikes. This looks like an old air traffic control tower. Whether it was or not, I don't know. And a defensive position, obviously protecting that area. And then as we head towards Arromanches, you can see the guns that were there for defence of the area. So here you can, above Gold Beach, you can see or get a glimpse of the awesome firepower available to the German defenders in the shape of a row of 150mm artillery guns still housed in the concrete casements. On D-Day, they were capable of hitting targets over 20 kilometres away, including Gold Beach to the east and Omaha Beach to the west. Parts of the classic D-Day film, The Longest Day, were filmed here. As we leave Gold Beaches and head along the coast, comes into sight down at Arromanches itself is the Mulberry Harbor, a sight to behold from above the cliffs there. Try to imagine what went on back in 1944. This seaside town was the site of one of the greatest logistical achievements of D-Day. In order to unload the vast quantities of cargo needed by the invasion forces without capturing one of the heavily defended Channel ports, the Allies set up prefabricated marinas at two landing beaches codenamed Mulberry Harbor. These consisted of 146 massive cement caissons towed over from England and sunk to form a semicircular breakwater, in which floating bridge spans were moored. The 3 months after the D-Day, the Mulberries facilitated the unloading of a mind-boggling 2.5 million men, 4 million tonnes of equipment and 500,000 vehicles. At low tide, stanchions of one of these artificial quays, Port Winston, named after Winston Churchill, can still be seen on the sands at Arromanches. An amazing sight to see, and unbelievable what they achieved in the short time for the build-up to D-Day. So after leaving the beaches, we then head inland into Bayeux. Go and have a look at the cathedral itself. Absolutely outstanding. The streets and the buildings within Bayeux itself is again something to be seen. It cannot be described. Absolutely amazing. And then obviously, because it had been a fairly long day and it was warm, we getting a little bit dehydrated, and it is important to remain hydrated. So we went and had some of the locally produced flavoured water from a dehydration station in Bayeux itself. Lovely it was, needed. Though best known for its medieval tapestry, Bayeux has another claim to fame. It was the first town to be liberated after D-Day on the morning of the 7th of June 1944. It's also the home to the largest of Normandy's 18 Commonwealth military cemeteries, the Bayeux War Cemetery. It contains 4,848 graves of the soldiers from the UK and 10 other countries, including Germany. Across the road is a memorial for the 1,807 Commonwealth soldiers whose remains were never found. The Latin inscription reads, "We, whom William once conquered, have now set free to conquer's native land." A sailor of the 1939-1945 war, Royal Navy, known unto God. Soldier of the 1939 to 1945 war, known only to God. Sergeant W.R. Bush, Air Gunner, Royal Air Force, 12th of July 1944, age 19. So that's us after that day's visit. Cycle back to the site itself, reflecting on the day. A round trip of just over 30 miles. Not much power used on the e-bikes, make life a lot easier, especially for me, getting a little bit older and not as fit as I was. Something to eat, some refreshments, and then sit down and fill in on the history of what we've actually seen today, starting off with the history of Pointe du Hoc. Amazing day. Just after midnight on the 6th of June 1944, 181 airborne troops were released into 6 gliders over the Orne estuary. By a superb feat of navigation and night flying, 5 landed adjacent to the bridge near the Orne River and canal bridges, Pegasus Bridge as the latter one came to be known. It was the first British objective to be captured on D-Day. So today we're at the Pegasus Bridge memorial. Major John Howard's 6 platoons from D Company, the Ox and Bucks Light Infantry supported by the Royal Engineer Detachments, captured the bridges after a 15-minute short skirmish. Total surprise was achieved. Later reinforced by soldiers from 7 Para, the bridge was held despite repeated counterattacks by German tanks and infantry. Enemy reinforcements now faced a 6-hour detour through Caen in order to cross the river to engage the invasion bridgehead. Detailed planning, harsh and aggressive training and precision flying produced one of the outstanding glider coup de main operations of the Second World War. In 1981 I joined the RAF Regiment and had an amazing 23 years with them. Prior to my service, the RAF Regiment was equipped with the ground-to-air defence of the Bofors, and in November 1944 they shot down an ME-262A near Osnabrück. It was the first confirmed ground-to-air kill of a jet combat aircraft. The 262 was shot down by a 40 L60 40mm Bofors gun of B-11 detachment of 2875 Squadron of the RAF Regiment. So this is a Bailey Bridge. The Horsa glider, of which 6 landed at the bridges, could carry up to 28 soldiers or a jeep and a trailer, or a jeep and a 6-pounder anti-aircraft gun. Fully loaded, a Horsa glider weighed almost 7 tons. Amazing. So this is actual fuselage of one of the gliders. I know we used to complain about flying in the Herc being uncomfortable, but London gliders, no thanks. To the Pegasus Bridge. D-Day and figures. Codenamed Operation Overlord, the D-Day landings were the largest military operation in history. On the morning of the 6th of June 1944, swarms of landing craft, part of an armada of over 6,000 ships, 13,000 aeroplanes, hit the northern Normandy Beaches, and tens of thousands of soldiers from the USA, the UK, Canada and elsewhere began pouring onto French soil. The initial landing force involved some 45,000 troops. 15 more divisions were to follow once successful beachheads had been established. The majority of the 135,000 Allied troops stormed ashore along 80 kilometres of beaches north of Bayeux, codenamed from the west to east Utah, Omaha, Gold and Juno and Sword. The landings were followed by a 76-day Battle of Normandy, during which the Allies suffered 210,000 casualties, including 37,000 troops killed. German casualties are believed to have been around 200,000, and another 200,000 German soldiers were taken prisoner. About 14,000 French civilians also died. we cross the Pegasus Bridge, we would like to thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up, and if you want, subscribe, so you know when our new stuff comes out. Thank you.